Good morning, folks. This is Waylon Lewis from Elephant HQ in Boulder, Colorado. And I'm here with my friend, special guest, Aaron Perry.
Hey, guys.
Good morning, Aaron.
Good morning.
So, thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Yeah. So, I asked you to come by because you have today, so we did one video together about why the soil is good stuff, right?
Yes. Yep.
So maybe we could just start with a, do you do bows and stuff? We often do these Buddhist bows.
Sounds great.
So everyone could take, if you're just joining us, say where you're from in the comments. It's always fun to see where people are from. And if you have any questions or comments or disagreements or criticisms or troll hate messages for Aaron or me at any time, leave them in the comments. But we're going to talk about 5 practical things we can do this week. So let's take a good posture and a deep breath and just touch in with your breath, eyes open. Take a really good posture, almost like a superhero posture, but then relax it. So you're a relaxed superhero. And let's look at each other wherever you are in the world, and with mutual respect and a healthy sense of humor and playfulness, let's give it away. So you just wrote a book, which no one has seen.
Correct. Well, my editor and
Your
a
editors
couple
have
of
seen
readers have seen.
No one has seen in the public, but
Yes.
the editors and people have seen it too much.
Well,
And
a few
edited
of us
it
have,
like 8 times.
We're
Yeah.
refining and polishing and all that.
Yeah, so
It's
I
a
wrote a
process.
book which was actually behind us,
Yeah.
and by the time we published it, I honestly still haven't read it since, because I'm so sick of it. It's a book about love, and I can't stand it. Because you wind up editing it
Do you
every
love it?
square inch. I did love it.
Ooh.
I might love it again.
Yeah. Give
Yeah.
it some time, maybe.
Yeah, we need some space. We're not talking right now. So let's just get right down to it. So you have a Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Let's put it in the links. If people are inspired to help it out, great. You don't need to help it out in the PBS kind of like donation kind of thing.
Yeah.
Only help it out if you actually want to read it. And for anyone who joins at the book level, $35, you will get, what are you going to get?
We get a free subscription to Elephant Journal for a year, right? That's $19 value.
So we're giving away, just out
Which
of
is
love
awesome.
and support, Andy's a sponsor, our kind of
Yeah.
eco-mindful sponsor,
Yeah.
a $19 one-year gift subscription. Either give it to yourself if you're selfish,
Or give it to somebody for the holidays.
Or give it to a loved one.
You can take advantage of that a lot of different ways. And then also we've just added a stretch goal of an audio book, and anybody who participates in the Kickstarter at any level, if we hit that stretch goal, we'll get a free copy of the audio book as well.
So anytime you
we're
say
excited
stretch
about
goal, I think we should stretch.
Yeah. Oh,
in
let's
this
stretch.
video. So what's the stretch? We have to, should we? I like this one.
Oh yeah, that feels great. It's so important to stretch.
All right, I gotta button my shirt up again real quick.
That's kind of like some of the life hacks that we explore. So the book's called Why on Earth.
Okay.
And it's how we will get smarter, feel better, and heal the planet. And what we're doing here is we've got hundreds of hours of research in various avenues of science and spirituality, exploring how to create more sustainable lives with enhanced joy, enhanced well-being, enhanced health.
So
And
all this
it's
sounds
exciting.
really good, but it's
Yeah.
actually really earthy. Like everyone's
is.
always trying to sell you something about spirituality and all this happiness bullshit. But you're actually talking about something we can do, right?
Several things we can do,
Right.
Waylon, right now, today, this week. And a lot of them are very simple things.
That's
and,
good because
you know, a lot of them
I'm
are
a simple man.
yeah, you know, a lot of them are things our grandparents probably did, in many cases more than we do today. And
So what is give me one. We just went and got coffee at the Cup, which
Yes.
does fair trade organic coffee, our kind of place in Boulder.
Yeah, it's
and we
great.
walked back, and you were talking about the power of
walking,
Walking.
right? So Gary Snyder has this beautiful quote. He says, walking is the exact balance between spirit and humility. And there's something about walking that is actually so important to our overall joy and well-being. And it's a meditation practice for many people. But one of the things that's really interesting is right now science is increasingly seeing connections between literally walking, just physically walking frequently, and our mental performance and brain health. So there are connections between walking in the hippocampus, which is now associated with memory. It's associated with Alzheimer's when the hippocampus degrades.
What's the hippocampus?
It's a part of the brain. It's a section in the brain that we increasingly understand when it withers or deteriorates. That's often associated with Alzheimer's. And we're also seeing that with walking, regular and frequent walking, the hippocampus will actually maintain or in some cases grow and remain healthier much later into life. So it's one of these simple things, and we're built to walk. Our bodies are designed for walking.
When you and I were walking back here, we were talking, and I had my dog Redford, who's, I'll just show him. If you like dogs and like rescuing dogs, please give it a like, and if you hate animals, don't give it a like. Yeah. I'm using Redford for, so if you do feel like liking it is a practical thing, it'll help the video get out beyond the choir. So I really want to try and support Aaron's message here. So give it some love. If you feel so inspired, share it, like it. That helps with Facebook's algorithm. It's actually a practical thing. But we were walking here and talking, and I was having really inspiring, for me, reactions to what you were talking about. I was learning something. That felt healthy. But walking the opposite direction, do you remember the lady?
Yeah.
She nearly ran into us because she was literally walking, like holding some stuff and looking at her phone.
Yes.
And then she only looked up briefly when she nearly walked into us. So that's walking, but to me that doesn't necessarily, we all do that, I don't, but most of us do that. I don't because I'm so sick of technology. I deliberately try not to, but you know, multitasking, does that have the same beneficial effect if you're walking and staring at your phone?
Yeah, it seems to be that there's a lot of both science and wisdom coming from spiritual traditions to just walk. And there's a Buddhist teacher I quote in the book who says, when you're eating, eat. When you're walking, walk. When you're reading, read. And if we are doing these things with our technology that's dinging and pinging and vibrating, it really not only distracts and disrupts our mental processes, but it is interfering with the way our neurological system is working. And yeah, for many of us, and it's sometimes really challenging. For me, we're doing the final editing of the book. I'm at my computer 8-10 hours a day right now, in addition to the Kickstarter campaign.
But when you're writing, right. I mean, you're
when
doing
you're writing,
something
right,
deliberate.
shut the other stuff off. But particularly at night, before we go to sleep, there is a window of time. It is so important that we unplug from our technology. And
so is this number 2?
Number 2 is, set down your technology, turn it off, put it away. An hour or even 2 before you go to sleep. The science is showing up now that tells us how the blue light coming off of our devices is, again, causing our brains to behave certain ways, literally making our brains think that it's still daytime. And there are studies showing this is linked to premature aging, other
Why do you look at me when
cognitive decline. Well,
I'm just teasing. Yeah, I'm teasing. No, I feel like I do that. I feel like we've all had that experience of like you're working or you're watching, half watching a movie while working, half working, not really doing anything properly. And it's like 11 p.m. and you're like, oh, I'm going to fall asleep. But then you're like, no, I'm going to keep doing my thing because the light's still there.
Yep.
And then before you know it, it's 3 a.m. and you're like, I need to watch this 1980s Tom Cruise movie that I've seen before. I didn't even like it the first time.
Yeah.
And it
You
just
don't like
keeps
Top
you
Gun?
up. No, I wasn't talking about Top Gun. This is a classic.
I love Top Gun.
God. No, I was actually thinking of The Firm.
Okay. Huh. Interesting.
Really?
Yeah. Well, yeah. No, I think and there's this.
It's a good
there's
movie
this,
once.
like technology hangover that probably a lot of us have experienced the next day when we stay up real late watching something, YouTube, movies, whatever it might be.
Right. And
it really is interfering with our brain's ability and our body's ability to do the restorative thing we do when we're sleeping. So it's hard. I'm telling you, this week I've had to sort of double down my own practice around shutting away and shutting off my technology at night.
it's hard, but it's also fun. That's the good news. Like
Yeah.
a lot of meetings, I was saying to you, instead of going for coffee or food, I already have a sedentary kind of way of life with the computer. So instead of going and eating as a break, I often will walk for a meeting around the neighborhood. And you talk and you meet and you look at things and it's sunny and you feel good.
Yeah.
And then you're hungry, actually, after that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So number one is walking, and does that address what you were talking about that we have? Yeah, you were talking about we have amazing, like children now are geniuses in terms of the fluid memory. I love that.
So yeah, I was actually just reading yesterday an article in Psychology Today. A scientist was exploring different types of intelligence, and two in particular that are pretty clearly influenced by our technology. One is called fluid intelligence, and that's our ability to process very rapid volumes of information and data. So picture you're at a very busy bus station or train station or airport, all kinds of people, all kinds of information, trying to get where you go. We're pretty good at that now.
Yeah.
In fact, average children today are probably much better at that now than adults were a couple of generations ago.
Right.
Which is really kind of interesting in the science.
So you were saying your average child is basically a genius in terms of fluid memory.
Yeah, fluid.
Being able to handle all kinds of data or input and just kind of surf that.
Fluid intelligence.
Fluid intelligence.
The other form is crystalline intelligence, and this is knowledge.
Right.
And we're actually probably seeing a decline right now in that. And that is literally what we know in our minds, in our bodies, not what we know by jumping onto Google.
What we've digested in a way.
Yes, information that we've synthesized into knowledge. And sometimes we can think about there being a spectrum where you've got data on the one end, and clear on the other end you got wisdom, right? So in between you've got information and knowledge. So it goes data, information, knowledge, wisdom, and right now with technology, it's very data and information oriented, and the knowledge and wisdom side of this might be declining some, might be atrophying some, and I think that there are great opportunities in our own lives, like reading, that allow us to maintain and cultivate that knowledge and wisdom.
I find that to be really true, and it's probably related with ADHD. We have this level of speediness, and in media, I'm working in media all the time, or reading media all the time. The articles, like if we did an article on the debate last night and we talked about Trump's sniffling, which is a trending hashtag on Twitter, and we talked about Hillary's red outfit or something, that blog might do really well because it's on the level of data and just really quick kind of stuff, the sort of superficial entertainment. But if you talk about in-depth ramifications of their debate or their policy proposals, and it's much more on the wisdom end, most of our readers, including ourselves, just culturally, we'll be like, that's too much of a commitment. I can't slow down. I can't take that in. We can't even process that kind of level of stuff half the time.
Yeah, and I tend to be very optimistic thinking about the opportunities that we have right now in our generation, right now in this time, with access to information on a global level. And we can choose to engage more with knowledge and wisdom and really direct where we're heading as a culture. And we're creating culture together right now, like you and I, all of us in this room, all of us
you guys,
plugged in.
Remember, if you're just tuning in, if you're just tuning in, say where you're from. If you have any questions for Aaron, we're going to address all those. And so you were saying.
Yeah, so we have this incredible gift and opportunity to create the culture and the future that we really want to create. And probably, I would posit, in order to do this, we need to engage more with the knowledge and wisdom side of that spectrum.
And so you talk a lot, your book is about the soil on some level.
Yes.
Do you talk a lot about how getting earthy, whether it's walking or whatever your other tips are, helps you kind of digest and cool down? And I mean, right now I can feel like the caffeine in my fingers. It feels like if I worked in the
I got something for
doing
you.
some weeding.
Is that still going?
Yeah, it's going.
Got a little.
This is from yesterday.
Okay. So I brought you a gift, Waylon. This is organic soil from my garden.
Nice.
And if you smell it, it smells kind of earthy. You can touch it, and it turns out
He brought me some dirt.
Yeah, brought some dirt. Dirt don't hurt. In fact, it's really good for us. You know, my grandpa, as
Was I
I
supposed to eat this?
mentioned last time, you sure can if you want. He gardened a lot and said it made him feel good. And you know, our ancestors, our elders, including a lot of the folks that have written a lot of the great books that we might read, engaged with the soil, engaged with the living environs in a way much more regularly and deeply than most of us do today, or many of us anyway. And connecting with soil is another one of the life hacks that is absolutely critical and literally kind of right at our fingertips.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
That felt good, just dipping my fingers.
And it turns out, and again, you know, our science is telling us some really interesting things right now, that literally interacting with living soil, with organic soil, and the microbes in the soil affects our serotonin production. So that helps us feel
What's
better.
serotonin?
That,
the pleasure stuff?
Yeah, a neurochemical that is the feel-good neurochemical. Right. It's, you know, when we're low on it, we might feel depressed. It's one of these things, you know, gardening at the end of the day, even if it's just 5 minutes or 3 minutes, can make such a huge difference and help us de-stress and really help us create more balance with our neurochemistry. So it's touching soil, interacting with soil. There's a little ant that traveled along with us today. Is another life hack that, you know, is at our fingertips for a lot of us, and for some of us maybe in you know, very urban environments where we might not have organic soil right at our fingertips. That's the kind of opportunity where we can get together with a few friends and neighbors and create a little plot of living soil. And my hope is that over the course of this century, we will see living soil sprout up in cities all over the place.
Well, and we already have. I mean, we've covered on Elephant. Maybe you could leave some links in the comments. Urban gardens. They're fantastic for community. They're obviously help produce healthy, affordable food, particularly if you're in a food desert. Nicole, you could put up some links about urban gardens and food deserts. And so they're fun community. They're cheap, affordable, organic, healthy food, especially for children who often, I remember on Jamie Oliver's show a few years ago, he was doing that show about food in schools or something, and he was trying to improve it, and he brought like eggplant and whatever else, and the children had no idea what they were. They'd never seen them. And so, you know, it's good food for the children, and you can do it anywhere. Often they're, you know, in many of these urban situations, they're just reclaiming like a abandoned empty lot or something, and you can do a raised bed.
It's really exciting what's happening in that arena. My friend Mark Guttridge at Olin Farms up the road turned me on to some articles and research showing that when kids are involved in growing vegetables, they're actually statistically more likely to eat them.
Right.
And so
because there's pride, it's fun.
There's connectivity, right? Yeah. It's one of these life hacks that, particularly for those of us who have kids, is one, you know, probably worth thinking about and incorporating into our lives. And you have children. I do. You do this stuff with them? Yeah, and they're a bit older now. One just graduated high school, the other just started high school. But it's been wonderful over time experiencing not only the gardening and soil building with them, but also getting out in the woods and identifying different herbs and medicines that are growing naturally in the woods. One of my favorites with my son, who's a freshman in high school, was a couple of years ago. He was really starting to grow and getting hungry a lot, you know, and we talked about some quick meals he could prepare for himself after school. And this is another one of these life hacks. When we prepare food with friends and family, with loved ones, there are so many benefits that come from that. And it's very easy in our hectic lifestyles to forget to do that, or to feel like maybe we don't have time to do that. Right. But when we create a nice batch of food, maybe once a week, with a loved one, a friend, not only can we make an extra few meals to enjoy during the week when we're busy, just to quickly reheat and so on, but that time preparing and chopping and cooking with folks is actually an incredible time of connection. And another neurochemical that the science knows is produced when we're doing this sort of thing is oxytocin. And this is the neurochemical that is our connection, that creates affinity and familiarity between people. And we know that it's released when a mother is breastfeeding. Both the mother and the baby are releasing oxytocin at measurable levels. So these are the kinds of life hack activities that we might just as easily forget to do, but making some time and space to prepare that food with loved ones is just tremendous.
Redford, this is not the time to chew a bone. So the oxytocin is sometimes called the love hormone. We have a bunch of blogs on that, Nicole, if you want to put that in the comments. And I just want to remind, I think hopefully, Nicole, you put the Kickstarter link to your book in there, but if anyone wants to... So what's in this book? Is it a bunch of science, or is it a bunch of like life hacks, or is it a mix?
It's really a mix. So and there's storytelling throughout. I talk about my grandpa some and other friends and family who have good things to offer us. We show a lot of science. The bibliography itself is a huge resource for folks who want to go deeper into the science. But ultimately, it's the life hacks themselves in these 33 chapters. Why on earth, how we will get smarter, feel better, and heal the planet.
Why is it called Why?
So there's a little play on words there, right?
Okay.
It's the letter Y.
Right.
And part of this is thinking and focusing a little bit on the millennial generation, Gen Y. I missed it by just a few years. Mm-hmm. My kids are millennials. My son's on the far end of that spectrum, being 14. And one of the things we talk about in the book is this experience with technology. And I remember very vividly, it's in a chapter called Unplug, which you can actually download on the website if you'd like to, whyonearth.world. I remember vividly the first time I sent an email to a friend who happened to be in Antarctica at the time, and I sent it from the campus here in Boulder at the University of Colorado, and I was absolutely blown away. I had just sent a message that my buddy could be reading right now down in Antarctica. Right. So I have memory, knowledge of time before the internet. Right. My kids don't. They are native technologists. They don't recall. My son in particular doesn't recall the world without the internet. For him, the internet's kind of always been there. Right. And so for us to really get smart about ways in which these technologies can be beneficial and helpful and useful, and they truly can. They're amazing. But also to really understand ways in which they can create additional risks, new risks, and even disadvantages for us in terms of mental performance, in terms of physical health, and so forth. So it's a big part of the storytelling that we weave through the book, and the life hacks that we present, and there are lots of life hacks in the book, are
just on the technology bit.
Yeah.
So using it instead of being used by it.
Yeah,
we talk about that a lot.
Great way to put it.
Yeah. So there's nothing wrong. I think what we often get into this sort of what do you call it, duality, between like technology bad,
right,
walking good, but walking is good and good for us. And it's good to not multitask too much with it. Maybe talk with a friend or walk your dog. But technology is also a blessing, and it's amazing. We publish a blog, and it can be read in Mongolia, even in China, instantly for free. That's an amazing blessing. But as Edward R. Murrow, my journalist idol, said, just because your voice can be heard across the planet doesn't make what you're saying any better. The message is still the thing. Like, are we sharing something helpful? And you are doing that. That's why I wanted you on here. Yeah. So I think we're at 4 life hacks, or have we done all 5?
Well, there is, I think, one more that is fun to mention. You know, after we grow the vegetables, one of the things we can do that's very easy and cost effective is lacto-ferment these vegetables, pickle these vegetables in a way that is probiotic. And I think, more and more of us are hearing about probiotic acidophilus affecting the microbiome in our guts, the ecology of little organisms in our guts. And it turns out that is affecting our minds, our mental performance, our brains, our immune systems. And there are some very simple ways to do this. And for me, it was important to discover like Perfect Pickler, and there's some others out there that make pickling vegetables very, very easy. It only takes about 4 or 5 days from chopping till they're ready to eat. And so
you just chop up some veggies, you put them in something with vinegar or something. I don't even know.
So it's salt brine, salt water.
Okay.
And we love to do cabbage to sauerkraut. We almost always have a jar of that available. We
sounds good.
combine it into a meal at least once a day.
Put on a sandwich or whatever.
Sandwich, salad, dinner, great with eggs in the morning.
So why is this so good for us?
Yes.
Other than those big science words, like maybe dumb it down for
Yeah,
me.
so the fermenting process activates a whole ecosystem of organisms that produce enzymes, basically more complex molecules that nourish our bodies.
So antibiotics kill stuff.
Yep.
Often we take them when we're sick. We want to kill the sickness.
Yep.
But they wipe us out. Anti-life, anti-bio.
Yes.
And probiotics develops healthy stuff in us.
Exactly right.
Okay.
Yeah. And anthropologists are increasingly seeing evidence at the end of the Paleolithic, when we first started to create civilization. It was our fermenting of foods, making things like beer, things like fermented breads and fermented vegetables, that created a whole new availability of enzymes and nutrition that probably accelerated the development of our brains and intelligence.
So beer is fermented, I guess. I don't think of that, right?
Yep.
Bread, you said?
Some bread is, some bread
Sourdough or
isn't.
something?
Yep. And
A live culture.
some of the bread enthusiasts out there
Right.
would say that the way to go is with the cultured or fermented breads.
So Nicole, we have a bunch of articles on fermented stuff and the breads, the live breads, and fermented beer. Hopefully, anything you're hearing, just put in some links. And Aaron has put up 2 articles. Hopefully, you've put those in the links or in the comments. Maybe we can do that now. What were your articles on elephant about?
Yeah. So the first that we put up is called Soil Spirituality, and it's just digging in, no pun intended, to the.
I think that pun was intended.
Pun intended to the soil and our connection with soil.
Okay.
And in the Latin, we've got human, humus, which is soil, humor, humility. We talked about that recently. And that connection is one I hope more of us deliberately integrate into our lives on a regular basis.
And that's just doing anything beneficial in the soil. Gardening,
Yep.
landscaping even.
Yeah, even houseplants.
Right, houseplants.
yeah.
Right, I love houseplants. We have a great video, Nicole, with Brigitte Mars on weeding and what not to weed, and half the weeds we think are evil weeds and we poison, you can actually just eat for a salad, and they're super healthy as long as you
Yep.
haven't pesticided.
Yes.
Maybe put that in the link.
It's really
so
important.
that's your first article, and then soil spirituality. And for me, this is really practical. I hope people are enjoy this. It's super practical stuff because I'm like most Americans, maybe, or most of you tuning in from wherever you're tuning in. Rely on coffee for energy.
Yep.
I'm pretty healthy about trying to exercise and stuff, but there's a level of balance that's probably missing, and a level of stress that can, manifest in, I don't know, I mean, my staff would probably disagree, but once in a while, maybe I have a temper, or I get upset. I know no one's ever seen that, but, I'm very grounded. There's another pun intended.
Right.
So just getting into the soil can actually relax us in the same way
True.
meditation
Yeah.
or running or any of these things can.
I would say that's right, and it seems that one of the biggest risks we face right now is stress.
Right.
And our strategies and techniques for stress relief is actually really important right now.
So can you go over, what were the tips you just shared in order?
In order, well, let's start with soil.
Okay.
Right? It all starts with soil. Our lives as human beings are possible, brought to you by soil.
Right.
And we got soil when we grow our vegetables. Prepare foods with friends and loved ones once a week.
And I just started doing that, like with a pressure cooker, a ton of
Yeah.
beans and rice, and it's like you have Chipotle all week long, but
Yeah.
it's like on your stove or in your fridge, and it's easy.
Beautiful, yeah. And all the better if you've done that with a good
Right.
pal or
Right.
your sweetheart or
Yeah.
whomever it
In
might be.
in my case, I don't have any friends.
Well, Redford.
So it's just Redford and I.
Yeah.
He's a good friend.
You should come over sometime
Yeah,
soon.
we're coming over. All right.
Yeah, so then with the vegetables in particular and breads and so on, fermenting. Probiotics are huge, and they do really enhance our immune systems. They do really enhance our mental performance. They do really enhance our physical well-being.
And we can buy a lot of this if we're too lazy to make
We can, yeah, and I have friends with some wonderful boutique artisan companies making these sorts of
Like
products.
Ozuke or...
Yeah, it's fantastic. Now,
so I have an interview with Willow King Ozuke. We could put that in the comments.
that's great. Yeah,
She's a great female entrepreneur. It's a pickled, I assume it's fermented and
it is. Yeah, it's
and all that.
probiotic, lacto fermented, beautiful product, delicious product.
Right.
And
It's good.
we can do this at home as well. So I love Ozuke and those sorts of products when I'm on the go, if I'm visiting another city or community. But at home, I like that I can make these things. It's very cost effective. And it's just in a jar in the fridge. And
it's
ready
actually
to roll.
easy for someone like me.
Yeah,
who's
believe
maybe
me.
not that skilled.
I probably
Okay.
wouldn't be doing it if it weren't
Okay.
really easy.
You seem kind of skilled. You have a garden. You have chickens.
I'm learning.
Right.
I'm a student.
So, and this book was reflecting your process of learning.
A lot.
I love that.
And there's more learning going on. And
So-
in these life hacks.
So let me just plug you again.
Yeah.
So $35, you get the book, you get a free $19 gift subscription, or not free, but included
Yep.
gift subscription to Elephant Journal to give to someone or use for yourself.
Yep.
What else do you get?
And then if we hit our stretch goal of the audiobook, everyone in the Kickstarter campaign will get a free copy of the audiobook.
Got to stretch.
Yeah.
Whenever you say stretch goal.
Stretch.
So good.
Good.
Hopefully those watching just take that opportunity to stretch a little
Yep.
bit. Stretch open that closed little heart of yours, or mine. Okay, and and your whole book is full of like life hacks, or is it super scientific and dense and I'm gonna be intimidated?
We hit on the science, but it's in a storytelling narrative style.
Okay.
So it should hopefully be fun and
Yeah.
relatively easy to read.
Okay.
But for folks that want to dig deeper, we have a very extensive bibliography. And for folks that want to go into the science more, that those trailheads, if you will, are presented.
Cool. All right, let's. Thank you so much for sharing that stuff.
Thanks, Waylon. Yeah.
You just shared your entire, like, the best part of the book. Now you don't really. No, I'm kidding.
No, there's a lot. You
Yeah.
gotta check
So-
the book out.
We got a ton of people watching, which is inspiring. I never know if anything other than yoga and nudity will do well on Elephant. So we're
Soil is good.
soil is good. So we have a question from a Winter Wall. Have you
Okay.
heard of her?
I sure have.
Yeah, no, that's your lady,
It's my
pal,
sweetheart. Hi,
sweetheart.
Winter.
And
She's in
start with a
California.
deep breath, coming to you from the California coast.
Thank you.
Yeah, and she helped edit the book, right?
Yeah,
or
she's
something.
reading, and she and I have been developing a lot of the content together over the course of the last couple of years. And we're also doing more in the way of workshops and presentations and so on, and she's an absolute delight, and she is a true expert in the kitchen.
Nice.
Other places too,
Right. The kitchen and the garden.
and the garden.
Right. All right. Robin with Stanislaus National Forest. Good morning. Good morning to you. Catherine from Phoenix. Hello to you. Tiffany from Mesa. All right. I'm going to skip all the amazing places that you're from. Hey, Leslie. Sending a new denim shirt from Tennessee.
All right.
What does that mean? Are you sending me a denim shirt? That would be my fantasy. I'm a denim shirt aficionado, which is a phrase no one's ever said or will say again. All right, George. Looks like my dog. Yeah, Redford is taking a little nap down here.
Oh yeah,
Chilling out. Busy day.
relaxing.
Hey, Angel. All right. Sam, scaries, something scary. Oh, you never sleep? Yeah, so this stuff can help you sleep with insomnia. You're relaxed, you're in the earth.
Yeah.
Multitask is doing many things, none of them well. I love that quote. All right. Any questions or comments for Aaron? Hit him hard. Test him out.
Not too hard.
Leslie needs some dirt in her life. Don't we all? I'm happiest when working in my gardens.
Angela.
From Angela.
That's great.
Dirt don't hurt. Thanks for the grounding, guys, from Connecticut. I live in an apartment, no yard. Here's a great question from Mary Ellen McPherson. I live in an apartment, no yard. How can I compost and not gas myself to death?
Great question. There are some kits available for under the sink composting. Even if you have a small deck or patio, there are ways you can do it out in spaces small like that. Also, if there is an opportunity in your neighborhood to do a community garden and compost, that is a great way to connect with people. If it doesn't exist yet, that could be a very worthwhile project for you and a few other folks to take on.
Do you have any suggestions? Ashley? Only if you do.
I've seen that under the sink things. It's like a big tub. I don't know exactly how
And
they
you put
work.
worms,
And, they aren't
vermiculture?
stinky
Yep.
either.
Worms
You
are
can
great.
just go to your hardware store. I know we have them at McGuckin.
Yeah,
But they don't smell bad.
that's right.
Yeah, I think smelling, and I have friends in New York who would like put all their compost in bags in the freezer, and then they'd take them all at once to some community garden.
Yeah, that's a
The
great
brand
idea.
we like is called Compo Keeper.
Cool. Compost.
And that's, what is that?
Compo Keeper.
But what is it?
It's like the under the sink composting method.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
A friend of mine's doing it with the worms, which sounds gross maybe, but
It's
I think
great.
it's kind of cool, and the worms are happy as long as you take care of them. And
Yeah, worm castings, which is the poop after they eat.
Oops.
The leftover veggies and so on is
Right.
one of the best organic fertilizers ever.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Worm castings are amazing.
And compost is one of those magical things that when you become an eco nerd, it seems super fun and almost like sexy, because you're turning trash. 85% of landfill, which is causing methane and obviously ugliness and horribleness, is compostable, and you put the worms in there. I don't even do the worms. I just toss my compost in my backyard, but and then the bears pick it up, and it's a win-win. No. Hopefully they don't. But you're creating rich, beautiful earth.
Yes.
And even someone like me who's not a farmer or gardener type, you can see how beautiful this earth is, and it comes out of like your banana peels and your whatever.
I love it.
It's magic.
I love it, Waylon.
I do get inspired about compost. All right.
Soil is sexy.
Soil is sexy. So Tommy has a great suggestion. Mary Ellen, what about just getting a couple of live plants, herbs in your window, that kind of thing?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I was just recently reading a few articles about the benefits of indoor plants for air quality, and there are a few species in particular.
We have an article on that, Nicole, if you want to put it in the comments.
Yeah, there are a few species in particular. The spider plant, many of us have seen, are incredible at filtering, like we got right here, are incredible at filtering air and maintaining better air quality for us.
And spider plants breed really quickly, and all they need is Redford's having a little stretch down here. All they need is a little love, and they're pretty resilient, and they make lots of babies that you can. Yeah. All right. Just got an update from New York Times on Chris Christie. Back to gardening. Alicia Henson, I garden in pots only, and it's great. Love to buy from local farmers, local fresh eggs. Thanks, guys, for sharing. That's something I always love about this, is there's nothing sort of liberal or conservative or partisan about getting in on the earth. Farmers, supporting farmers, that's a bipartisan activity. Like, this is one thing you can do, whether you're a Birkenstock wearing hippie, or if you're a, cowboy, whatever.
Right. Absolutely.
It's awesome.
And soil, right? These things
Or
are things
urban,
we've been doing as humanity ever since we've had humanity.
Right.
So yeah, absolutely.
So if you're stressed out, get in there. Thanks, Tommy. I have tons of plants, but I want to make my own soil to repot them, not use chemical crap from garden centers. Yeah, that's beautiful, because you're buying this chemical crap or the soil in plastic bags that's been shipped around. It's just an insane kind of disconnection from nature and a weird economy. So create your own soil. Amen. Maggie, I'm happy I found this. Tommy, we use coffee grounds and eggshells to enhance our soil.
Beautiful. Same here.
Too much coffee, though, can be, since I really only produce coffee, my compost is all coffee. I don't actually eat at home ever. Too much of that is acidic, right?
It is, yeah. So for folks that love growing rose plants, the grounds and the leftover coffee can be a great treat for the roses in particular. And yeah, your compost pile or bin, you don't want to necessarily overload with grounds. You want to balance that out. And there are some great experts out there on how to create the best balance between carbon and nitrogen and different inputs from your kitchen scraps.
So Maureen has a great point, your kind of point. Can you read that? Funny, all this stuff was done by our grandmothers. Life hacks equal life before technology.
Amen.
But, again, we can use technology to communicate like we're doing right now.
Yep.
Win-win. Alicia, even instant pickling is great. Love cauliflower, always in the house. Pickled apples are amazing.
Beautiful. Got to try pickled apples. I haven't done that yet.
I know.
That'll be fun.
I love apples. Yay, beer. Pickled apples, recipes, please. Yeah, any pickled recipes we have, Nicole, let's pop that in. Morning from Ashland, Medford, Oregon. Yeah, if you're just tuning in, check out Aaron's Kickstarter. If you want the book, if you want a subscription to Elephant included, you can give that away. Let's support this guy doing good stuff. And and say where you're from. All right, Marine, I can dig it. He can dig it. She can dig it. Can you dig it? Dig it, baby.
That's
Alicia, any quick pickle? Use harder apples like Granny Smith. Basic sugar, vinegar, water, and pickling spices. But you can also pickle without vinegar, right? What was the other thing?
this is the distinction between the lacto-fermented
Right.
technique and then the vinegar and or heat pickling technique. And it's the lacto-fermented style that gives us the probiotic benefits. You know, vinegar also has benefits, but in terms of the probiotics, there's a particular way of pickling that
isn't
allows
vinegar.
that to happen. Yep.
Yeah. Cool. There's Brigitte Mars, who can talk to you about weeding and fruit salads. I like this guy. Can you introduce us again? Tuned in.
Cool.
Yeah. So who are you and why are you here?
Great.
Who
Aaron,
are you?
Yeah. Aaron William Perry. What is it? Name, rank, serial number.
Yeah.
And we've got a book, Why on Earth? How We Will Get Smarter, Feel Better, and Heal the Planet, coming out soon. And we're doing a Kickstarter campaign right now. Hope you can participate. Anyone who participates at the $35 level or higher gets a subscription to Elephant for a year. You can use it yourself or give it to a friend or loved one. And if we hit our stretch goal, we will have
that.
an audio book.
You have to stretch
for
whenever we say
everybody
stretch goal, yeah.
as well. We have 11 days left, guys, and we're at
Yeah.
77% of our goal already. So really excited for you all to engage and help create the world we really want.
So if you want, this is a book about community, about gardening, about soil, about raising a great family or dealing with your stress, about creating great food. And this is a community kind of enterprise. So if we want to make it happen, we got to jump in together and get that book.
Takes all of us, yep.
So Elephant's giving the free subscription, try and support, get in there. Why are gastric cancers so high in cultures like Korean? From Lori.
Really good question.
We're going to have to Google that extensively and get back to you. But if you have any ideas or anyone else watching knows, there's hundreds of people watching right now.
Show the book. What does that mean?
Please help us out.
We have
So-
the draft cover available
Louis,
online.
No. We're good.
Okay.
Louis, just if you don't mind, or Nicole, if you can leave the link to Why on Earth again, the Kickstarter, then you'll see
Yeah.
the book,
Yep.
and you'll see it in color, and it's beautiful. Alrighty. There's been some problems with the video. It sounds like from 2 people. Maybe Facebook's getting overloaded, but we still have hundreds on, so I think we're good. My mom eats lots of pickled food, being Polish, and has Barrera disease. Oh, that's a question from Lori. Don't know anything about that, but big love to your mama. All right, came in late. What is the book? We just mentioned. Just check out the Kickstarter link. It's called Why on Earth. Karen's also asking for the link to the Kickstarter. So yeah, maybe Nicole just repeat it a couple times. Remember to introduce the links. Don't just put the links in.
I saw a question
You crazy.
up above
Yeah?
about gardening in places where there's contaminated soil. It looks like this person is a mile from a Superfund site, meaning there's some very heavy industrial contamination. And one of the most interesting writers and authors, Paul Stamets, has
Ready.
done a lot in this arena.
Come here.
And we can do a lot of remediation using mushrooms and fungus. Now, that's the kind of thing with a Superfund site you're going to want to work with experts for sure. Because if you have, heavy metals and other toxins in the soil, you want to be very careful about what you might be eating there. So, just want to give a shout out to Paul Stamets. Yeah,
Paul Stamets
raised
is
beds
amazing
for sure.
He walks around wearing we have some Paul Stamets blogs. Nicole, if you want to put them in. He walks around wearing a mushroom on his head, right?
Yeah.
Mushroom hat. It's a hat made out of mushrooms somehow. But probably raised garden beds with soil not from your super fun site.
That's probably a very
might
good
be
idea.
good.
Yeah.
Eco Nerd, love it. Amen.
Someone was just asking for the link to the Kickstarter.
I know, I already mentioned
Okay,
that. And hopefully
great.
Nicole's put it in. You are inspiring me to start a garden. Dana, I
Great.
assume she's talking about you because...
Awesome. Well, hopefully it's all of us. Yes. Let us all garden.
Sonny, I feel like I now want to go live out of town, start a garden, get chicken and some bees. But again, you can do most of that in, urban
Yes.
environment. And in terms of bees, our good friend Tim, we have a video with him, Highland Honey. He actually recommends kind of not doing the bee thing unless you're really committed. It's kind of like adopting dog. It's a full-time kind of commitment. Redford's trying to get the bone. He's very unhappy right now. Life is rough. Parul, my tomato plants are flowering but not fruiting. Unhappy face.
Yeah. Someone was telling me earlier this year that has to do with temperature. Don't know.
Yeah, so if folks want... Redford, go. Sorry, guys. In Germany, there's a trend to minimalism. What do you think about minimalism in terms of gardening? Yeah, so your garden can be very modern, gray, very cool, very perfect. I really don't know. All right, Alicia, be happy to try recipe minus vinegar and have better probiotic health. Yeah, but again, vinegar does have other benefits.
Sure.
It's not either or, you can do both. Parul, my tomato plants are flowering but not fruiting. I've used cocoa peat and manure in the pots, and we're becoming a gardening forum.
Wow.
That's a great question. I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know right off the top of my head, but that's one that sounds like that a lot of us are experiencing.
Yeah. Well, thank you, everyone. This has been a pretty huge video, which is inspiring to see. I'm going to put this back down again.
Awesome.
I just was holding it so I could read your comments. If you have any new comments or questions, let me know. So any final comments or questions for Aaron, for the Kickstarter, for the book, about gardening, about stress, about the various life hacks, let us know. Let's meditate for 1 minute. So you have 1 minute to think of any final questions, or you can just not particularly think, take a good posture, and join us in basic meditation, which, like gardening, is about coming back to the present. So just take a good posture. Your eyes can be open in this particular practice if you like. Hands open, just relaxed on your thighs. Find your breath in and out. And actually do this if you're watching. Just try it out. So just breathe in and out. There's nothing spiritual about this. You're just breathing. Connect with your breath. If you find yourself stressed out or distracted by a sound or thinking about lunch or work or an argument or there's a song in your head, whatever it is, just notice that, label it thinking, and return your attention to your breath. And then we can join our hands together and thank Aaron for joining us today. Aaron, thank you.
Thank you, Waylon. Thanks,
Bow
everybody.
to each other everywhere, wherever we are. Thank you to you for making this possible, everyone. And if you feel like supporting him in this kind of community-created book, check out the Kickstarter. You got 11 days. You get an elephant subscription. And I'll check for any last comments. But thank you, everyone. All right. Alyssa, we have a great plot all set up, but didn't take advantage of it after we moved. I think
That's great.
I think this will help my kids eat better and also give them some pride in growing their own food.
That's wonderful news. Love it.
Michelle, if you have chickens, toast the eggshells so your chickens don't go cannibal. That's a good tip. Anti-cannibal tip.
They
Chris,
are little dinosaurs.
Crazy kids. Chris, black soldier fly larva in my compost pile, good or bad?
Good question. You know, Elaine Ingham is a wonderful resource when it comes to soil and soil cultivation.
How do you spell her last name?
Ingham, I believe.
Okay.
And she's got a lot of information online, so I would definitely recommend checking out her work if you have questions about your compost and soil building.
Yeah, but yeah. So this isn't exactly a gardening forum, but we love those questions. But it is a sort of like, let's go over those 4 or 5 life hacks for how to be present and happy and smarter.
Connect to soil, walk, prepare food with family, lacto-ferment vegetables, unplug from your technology at night.
And which was the one that helps me remember anything?
They all
which
do.
I don't?
All 5 of those.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, the hippocampus in the brain is associated with memory. And we're seeing that the more we walk, the healthier our hippocampus
Walking.
is. So walking, certainly.
Okay.
However, all of those literally are affecting our brain function and brain health.
Yeah, ironically, I forgot. All right, thank you so much, everybody, and check out Aaron's articles. Yeah, check out Aaron's articles in the. Hopefully, they're in the comments. Check out his Kickstarter. Let's support this guy and make this happen.
Everybody. Yeah.
And I do these videos every day. You can get all of them. The Kickstarter link will be working, or it should be working as soon as the video is over. But it should be working now too. If you just copy and paste it in a different browser, that'll work. If it's not opening for you for some reason.
Awesome, Heather. Woohoo!
Aw. So we do these videos every single day. Tune in. Hopefully they're mindful and helpful. If they're not, then I'm fired. And you can get the videos at youtube.com/elephantjournal if you miss them. And if you want to support Elephant Mindful Media for free, get our newsletter. It's all of our best stuff, unlike the viral stuff that gets through the Facebook algorithm. So elephantjournal.com/best. And let's have a round of applause, of thanks, likes. Please share, support this guy. Thank you, Aaron.
Thanks, Waylon.
Good man.